The story of Noah's Ark is one of the most well-known and yet deeply complex narratives in the Bible. It begins with a world in chaos, a world where the wickedness of humanity has reached its peak, where the intentions of the heart are continually evil. God, grieved by the corruption that has overtaken his creation, decides to cleanse the earth with a flood, sparing only the righteous Noah, his family, and a remnant of every living species. At first glance, this story might seem like a simple tale of divine wrath and judgment. But beneath the surface lies a profound exploration of human nature, justice, mercy, and the covenant between God and humanity. What does it mean for God to regret his creation? How does the ark serve as a symbol of salvation and renewal? And what lessons can we draw from Noah's obedience and faith in the face of overwhelming odds? Stay with me as we embark on a journey through the waters of the flood, exploring how this ancient story continues to resonate in our world today. As we move from the ancient text to the reality of our world, the story of Noah's Ark begins to reveal itself in the challenges, crises, and moral dilemmas that we face today. The flood is not just a historical event, it is a metaphor for the periods of chaos and destruction that punctuate human history. In times of war, natural disaster, or societal collapse, we find ourselves confronting the same questions that Noah faced. How do we maintain our faith in the midst of catastrophe? How do we discern what is right when the world around us seems to be falling apart? Consider the parallels between Noah's world and our own. Just as the earth was filled with violence and corruption in Noah's time, we too live in a world where injustice, inequality, and environmental degradation threaten the fabric of our society. The story of the flood challenges us to reflect on the state of our own world. Are we, like the people of Noah's time, turning away from the values that sustain life and community? Are we contributing to the destruction of the earth through our actions and inactions? But the story of Noah's Ark is not just about destruction, it is also about renewal and hope. The ark, with its carefully gathered pairs of animals, represents the preservation of life in the face of annihilation. It is a symbol of God's commitment to creation, a promise that even in the darkest times, there is a possibility of a new beginning. In the aftermath of the flood, God makes a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy the earth by water. The rainbow, which appears in the sky as a sign of this covenant, serves as a reminder of God's enduring mercy and faithfulness. But it also serves as a challenge to us. How do we honor that covenant in our own lives? How do we act as stewards of the earth, ensuring that we do not repeat the mistakes of the past? As we reflect on these questions, let's turn our attention to the personal implications of the story of Noah's Ark. How can we, as individuals, navigate the floods of life? What can we learn from Noah's example of obedience, resilience, and trust in God's plan? The story of Noah's Ark is not just a narrative of survival, it is a lesson in faith, obedience, and the power of covenant. At the heart of this story is Noah, a man who walked with God in a time when the world was drowning in wickedness. Noah's faith was not passive, it was active, demonstrated by his willingness to follow God's commands even when they seemed impossible. Building an ark in the middle of dry land, gathering animals of every kind, and preparing for a flood that had never been seen. These were acts of radical obedience. In our own lives, we are often faced with situations that require us to act in faith, to trust in God's plan even when it doesn't make sense. Whether it's facing a personal crisis, making a difficult decision, or standing up for what is right in a world that often rewards compromise, Noah's example challenges us to be steadfast in our faith. Like Noah, we are called to build our arks, to prepare and act in accordance with God's will, even when the future is uncertain. The flood also teaches us about the necessity of renewal. Just as the earth was cleansed by the waters of the flood, we too must undergo periods of cleansing and renewal in our own lives. This might involve letting go of old habits, relationships, or mindsets that no longer serve us. It might mean embracing change, even when it's uncomfortable, and trusting that God is leading us to a new beginning. But perhaps the most profound lesson of the flood is the power of covenant. God's promise to Noah is not just a promise to one man, but a promise to all of humanity. A promise that is renewed in each of us through our relationship with God. The rainbow, as a symbol of this covenant, reminds us that we are not alone in the storms of life. God's mercy is ever present, offering us hope and the possibility of a new beginning. As we navigate the challenges of our own lives, let us draw strength from the story of Noah's Ark. Let us be like Noah, walking with God in faith, building our arks in obedience, and trusting in the covenant that promises renewal and hope. The story of Noah's Ark is a timeless narrative that speaks to the deepest aspects of the human experience: our struggle with sin, our need for renewal, and our reliance on God's covenant. It is a story that challenges us to live with integrity, to act in faith, and to trust in the enduring mercy of God. This has been The Heathen Link, where we explore the mysteries of ancient texts and their relevance to our modern lives. If you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that challenges and inspires.